Welcome to Take 5, your 5-minute inspirational message from Solid Rock Dorada. We are looking at the Christmas carols, and we're looking at some of the amazing words and the teaching about Jesus Christ that is contained within them. And today I want to start looking at a new carol, and it's one that I'm sure most of you know. It's Joy to the World. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Wonderful, but this is actually, Joy to the World is the most published Christian hymn ever in the United States. More copies of the music and words of this have been printed out than any other hymn ever written. For many of us, it sums up Christmas, either sung by a traditional choir, or you may be familiar with Mariah Carey singing it, or maybe Whitney Houston singing it with the Mass Atlantic Gospel Choir in the movie The Preacher's Wife. So it really is, if you like, one of the great Christmas carols. But can I let you in on a little secret? Joy to the World isn't actually written about Christmas at all. It was never intended to be written about Christmas. Now, I know the tune sounds very Christmassy and all of that, but actually the song is all about Christ's second coming, not his first coming. In fact, if you look at the words to the carol, look at all the verses. There's no mention of angels. There's no mention of shepherds. There's no mention of wise men. There's no mention of Bethlehem. There's no Mary or Joseph. There's no mention of a baby. There's not even a snowflake in it. Nothing Christmassy at all in the words. In fact, it was written by a guy called Isaac Watts. And Isaac Watts lived in the late 17th, early 18th century, and he was a minister, he was a preacher. In fact, I have visited and sat in the chapel in London where Isaac Watts used to preach hundreds of years ago. He was a theologian. He was a logician. That's somebody who teaches on logic. In fact, he wrote a book on logic that became the standard textbook in the universities of his day, which was remarkable because as a nonconformist, Isaac Watts couldn't attend university. There was discrimination then, and you had to be a member of the Church of England to go to a university, and so he couldn't go. And yet the textbook on logic became the standard textbook on logic in both Oxford and Cambridge universities. But most importantly for us, Isaac Watts wrote over 750 hymns, and not just Joy to the World. You'll know some others of them. For example, the great Easter hymn, When I survey the wondrous cross on which the Prince of Glory died, my riches gain I count but loss, and pour contempt on all my pride. That was by Isaac Watts as well. But most of his hymns that he wrote were adaptations of the Psalms, because in the Puritan, the congregational circles in which he moved, the only singing that was allowed in most churches was singing the Psalms. And so really a hymn writer, their job was really just to take the book of Psalms in the Old Testament and make them rhyme and scan correctly so you could sing them in English. But Isaac Watts, he used to get in a bit of trouble because he used to go beyond that. And he would take these Old Testament Psalms, but he would also put explicitly truths from the New Testament about Christ and about his ministry and about his second coming. And basically, Joy to the World is based on Psalm 98. Verses 4 to 9 say this: Shout for joy to the Lord, all the earth. Hey, guess what? People are still using this psalm for songs today. Burst into jubilant song with music. Make music to the Lord with the harp and the sound of singing, with trumpets and the blasts of the ram's horn. Shout for joy before the Lord the King. Let the sea resound and everything in it, the world and all who live in it. Let the rivers clap their hands, let the mountains sing together for joy. Let them sing before the Lord, for he comes to judge the earth. He will judge the world in righteousness and the peoples with equity. And so he just went on in that same theme to say, joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King, let every heart prepare him room. And you know, as the psalm said about the rivers clapping their hands and the mountains singing together for joy, he said, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. You know what, it might not have been intended as a Christmas carol, but it truly is a wonderful song to sing at Christmas, because it's speaking about Jesus and about the wonder that he brings, that he brought into the world, and that he will bring and establish at his second coming. Join us again next time for Take 5, and we'll look a little bit more at this Christmas carol that's not really a Christmas carol, Joy to the World.